I found a video.
Is Dota 2 harder than League of Legends? Well, let's find out. The common consensus among the MOBA community seems to be that Dota is the harder title, but many of you made it clear in the comments on my recent video that you wanted me to give Dota a try and put this theory to the test. Which is why, over the past 5 days, I tried Dota 2 from the perspective of a 10-year League vet. To answer the question, is Dota harder than League of Legends? I started the tutorial missions, which is where the differences between Dota and
I'm curious if he's actually going to say something of value.
League really started to rear their head for me. Here's a list of just a few of those things that I noticed right off the bat. Number 1, you heal in this game by eating trees. Number 2, Dota's Flash is an item called Blink Dagger that has a 15-second cooldown and a range that looks like this. Excuse me? Number 3, there is no recall. Your items are brought to you by a little flying donkey. I fly my item? Number 4, you can teleport around the map using this town scroll thing, and it is just completely broken.
I can just buy a 6-minute cooldown from the store for 100 gold.
Number 5, abilities are crazy overpowered and do shit like this. And number 6, you can disenchant your items to create new ones. The tutorial honestly did a great job comparing and contrasting the really high level or basic differences between the two games. I thought after spending hours inside Dota's tutorial, I surely must be ready for this. Right?
Oh, our first game. Here we go. No. Whoa, hey.
1 and 17.
Over my first and second games, I had the beautiful combined score of 5, 33, and 9. Even though the tutorial did a great job explaining to me the basic mechanics of the game, my macro knowledge and hero knowledge were slim to none. I knew that if I wanted to improve throughout this experiment, I needed to learn more about how Dota is supposed to be played, which is exactly what I did on day 3. After watching hours of educational content on YouTube, I became much more familiar with how the average Dota game plays out in comparison to League.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
For all the League players watching, here's my very high-level summary of how a Dota game is different to a League game. You've got 3 lanes just like in League, but those lanes are called the off lane, the mid lane, and the safe lane. 2 heroes go into the safe lane, your damage carry and heart support, basically your standard League bot lane. 1 hero goes into the mid lane,
He literally fucked it up.
And 2 heroes go into the off lane, your off laner and soft support. There is no jungle position in Dota. Also, one side safe
Bro
lane
made a
plays against
video
the
and
other
still
side's
goofed it.
off lane, as the sides of the map are flipped instead of mirrored like in League. Once I had a basic grasp of the flow of a Dota game, I then needed to see how my chosen hero, Juggernaut, fit into all of this. So I watched some guides and discovered that Juggernaut is a melee damage carry who usually starts in the safe lane. I also learned some basic in-game strategies and item builds, yada 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 yada, you get the picture. Even after learning all this information though, my first few games back on Dota were still very rough. But finally, after hours of learning, practicing, and playing, things finally started to look up for me and the Dota experiment.
Let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go.
To be successful, you really needed to adapt to the more fluid style of gameplay that makes Dota Dota. Instead of just sitting in a side lane and farming until eventually getting dropped by 4 enemies out of nowhere.
Ah! What? What the f-
I started playing with my team, getting out on the map, and being a part of those important game-winning fights.
Nice, there we go.
Now that I felt more comfortable playing Dota and began to adapt to its gameplay loop, I wanted to see what else this game had to offer on day 4. I thought it was important for me to get a feel for all the different positions in this game and not spend all my time on one hero and one role. And lastly, an offlaner named Dragon Knight, who, as you can probably guess, transforms into a dragon and sets everybody on fire.
Oh, Dragon Man.
He was far and away my favorite hero out of the bunch, and I had so much fun trying him out. He was really easy to learn as well, so right away I was getting
Look
a
at
ton of
these
kills,
dudes.
impacting the map, and helping my team win
How
the
are these
game
not
more than
bots?
any other hero.
What?
Oh my god. I have a 3-second AoE stun. Like...
Let's ask that question we all came here to learn the answer to. Is Dota harder than League of Legends? As a 10-year League vet, I can confidently say that yes, definitely.
Alright, I'm gonna have a stroke. Oh,
and
God.
Here's why. On both a macro and micro level, there's a lot more going on in Dota. Macro-wise, you have an insane amount of fluidity throughout the entire match that you need to keep track of. The increased roaming, wave management techniques, and teleporting from town scrolls open up so many different scenarios and avenues that just don't exist in League. And micro-wise, there are way more things you need to manage. There's
What?
minion denial, which means you can last hit your own minions to deny gold and
What?
XP from your opponent. And there's your
More
flying
micro,
donkey,
by
or
the way.
courier, you need to manage to get your items delivered to you safely, since it can be killed by the
A game with 0 skill shots is more micro, by the way.
enemy team, locking you out of your own items you just bought.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Wait, what? What? Why didn't I take my item? What happened?
I personally believe after this 5-day experiment, you can easily make the argument of saying Dota is twice as complicated as League.
Oh my god, no. Scream. It is Scream. I'm queuing. What are your credentials, motherfucker? What's your fucking rank on League? What's your fucking rank? That was such a horrible way to, like, frame a comparison between the two games. Holy fucking shit, man. I don't think he even referenced, like, a single thing that League has you do that's more complicated. At all. Because League has stuff that's more complicated. But, like, Dota has its, like, baseline learning that does require more than League's baseline. It doesn't make the game necessarily harder, though, because it's more like a... I don't know, it's hard to describe, but, like, the skill expression in League is higher than Dota's, just because of the things that you can do with your champ, and that you are required to do. Well, but, like, in Dota, there are things that are difficult, and there are that require a lot of knowledge. I'm surprised he said literally nothing, though. Like, I feel like the title just had nothing to do with the... Like, he didn't actually ask the question, he just hasn't played Dota, played it for the first time, said this game's hard.